Hey there, folks. In the fifth and final part of this series for the seminar that I did out at Island Tackle Outfitters, we cover the best times of year to chase snakehead, as well as some other issues and perspectives that people see in terms of their experience with the species, and also getting into whether or not you can sell snakehead. And the answer is provided by Mr. Kaz Kenny, who is a Maryland commercial fisherman, so definitely listen closely to the rules around selling snakehead. But let's get to the video.
Can I ask you a question then?
Sure.
So it started, well, the first one that you ever heard about was Crofton, became Monster Frankenfish.
Yeah.
And then after that, you started hearing about them down in Mattawoman, down in the Potomac. So the ones that are over here on this side, do you know, were they transplanted here by somebody, or did they actually make it across the bay on their own?
Yeah, I think that the last DNA they did in Blackwater, they're more closely resembling the Delaware fish. They can do some DNA.
Yeah, our DNA is more prevalent to the Delaware strain
Okay,
than the Potomac
gotcha.
strain.
So it's two different things.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Does the bite last all summer, or is just one of them things in spring and fall, or is it consistent all summer?
That's another great question, because snakehead, we think thus far, I keep saying thus far, I know it's redundant, but I want to emphasize the point that science is still early. So when I quote the published science, it's what we have so far. It looks like snakeheads spawn at least twice a year. And that's different from a lot of other species. It could be more than twice. Or it could be that some snakehead are spawning some times of the year, other snakehead are waiting and spawning other times of the year. It's not really clear what's going on just yet. But the way that plays into your question is, when the snakehead are spawning heavily, in my experience, you're wasting your time if you're trying to chase them too much.
So when do they, is it summer when
Right.
they,
Right now.
but do you fish all summer for them yourself?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, well then it's worth fishing for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's always worth it.
Well, there are
Never
some,
not.
some things, wasn't that worth, some they shut down, especially in shallow water.
Noticed on all your videos, you use a lot of spinning gear.
I do.
Do you not like bait casters, or do you not recommend it?
I know a lot of guys who use bait casters and do very well, if not better than me. They, by all means, use bait casters, especially with, I think I'm probably kind of an outlier throwing topwater frogs on spinning gear. I think it might actually be better in a lot of these cases to use bait casters, because bait casters, depending on the rod, will give you more backbone, more pressure you can put to get that penetration on a hook set.
I'm with you though, man. Spinning rods for my frog.
Yeah, I get the deal. I'm not alone.
I've never fished the Potomac,
Mhm.
but I'm assuming it's a relatively deep river in the middle,
Yes, sir.
6 foot.
Oh, it gets very deep. It gets down to
See,
around
that's
100.
probably what's saving your species as far as I'm concerned. Because the Blackwater, deepest place in most of the Blackwater is 4 feet.
Well,
And that's in the dead center. When you get to the shore, it's all snakehead territory.
oh yeah, the Blackwater, if there were ever a tailor-made place to host snakehead, Blackwater is it. Like the snakehead could not ask for a better environment than Blackwater.
I've had times where I get right up to a snakehead and hit him on the head with a lure, and he just sits there.
Yeah.
Won't eat. Is there times that they're more likely to eat, like morning and evening, or different times of the year?
They actually did a.
I didn't see a fry cloud or anything, so.
They did a study that's pretty pertinent to this. Again, if you check out the Northern Snakehead Truth Series, and the video description of each one of those episodes is a link to all of the presentations of the 2018 International Snakehead Symposium. And one of the ones they did was a study on gut contents. And they looked at what was in their gut at various points of the day. And what it looks like, if memory serves, I would hate to misinform you here, but I think what it looked like was that feeding was prevalent in the morning, slowed down through the day, and then maybe like right after kind of the sunset, there was another small spike. But it seems like feeding was most prevalent in the morning.
That's what I think.
But it's hard to nail down, honestly. Like, I don't feel like I have enough depth to say definitively this is what it is. But that's what the data I think is showing so far.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Have you seen the pattern? It seems like snakeheads will lay in their lair for a large part of the day, and then they'll go out foraging in more open water. Have you seen any of that?
I haven't observed the fish long enough to really say. So I don't want to take a guess at it and misinform it.
You know, you catch them out with no pads or anything, not
Oh, yeah.
too far from the pad.
Like the biggest one that I've caught came about, it was in Blackwater, and it came about 30 feet off of the shoreline, probably what passes for a channel edge in Blackwater, because like you said, Blackwater is very shallow.
So other
So,
times you can cast 100 casts and get nothing there.
Yep.
Certain times they're out there.
yep,
I like to say when they eat, they all eat.
yep.
No matter what it is, you know, you get one to eat, they eat. And for here, I think our biggest factor in feeding is probably tide. A lot of times, you know, not so much morning or evening. I think a lot of times it's tide. I mean, that's for numbers anyway.
I think that's a good point, because like if I'm fishing a place like Blackwater, especially if we've had a lot of rain recently, those reeds flood. If those reeds are flooded, me personally, I generally don't go there, because they can go so far up in those reeds you'll never see them, and that's where they love to forage. So like my preferred time to fish for snakehead is probably falling tide or low tide, because it gives them less areas to hide. Because I mean, I haven't seen them crawl over land, although I know people who have seen it. I don't know for how long a distance, but they've seen it. But I have seen them come about 3/4 out of the water to get from one pool to another at Blackwater. So like if there's a possibility they can get farther back in those reeds, they're going to do it. So if Blackwater's flooded, me personally, I'm not going. I'll find somewhere else to go, or for some other species to chase until the water comes back down. They're just too hard to find.
How's it going, man? It's Kevin Hogan. Nice to meet you, man.
Hey, you too.
Okay. So just, without even sounding controversial on, what do you think the push to regulate it as a game fish would be if, as we've talked about, the fry success rate is through the roof, right? They have ample habitat to hide. Every one of us in here could clean them out, right? We don't even make a dent in it, right? So, I mean, if that's kind of already the given, why do we need to regulate it more if their success rate is much higher?
So it depends, when it comes to making a dent, it depends on what type of pressure they're under. Because we've demonstrated it on the Potomac and some of the tributaries, where if we have spin fishermen, or not just spin fishermen, but rod and reel fishermen, in conjunction with bow fishing, we can drive them down. But like that's in the literature. Like once the bow fishermen get on the water, they can put a hurting on these fish because it's in the literature. Yeah, it's in the studies. I think too.
That dark water.
Oh, you're saying the
Dark
dark.
water.
Yeah. I hear you. So I see what you're saying. Yes, in the dark water, yeah, it's a hell of a lot harder. Yeah, but like in the non-tannic water over in the Potomac, they have shown the ability for the combination of fishing pressure from rod and reel and fishing pressure from bow fishermen to drive those numbers down. But like I said before, Blackwater is tailor-made for them. It's tailor-made for them. So.
So it's a combination then. I mean, it sounds like maybe the angler is trying to discuss the differences of bow fishing to hook and line.
Yep, I mean, it's a shame because like when we create policy, like regulatory policy, generally we want to apply that to everywhere because it's easier to do. And I mean, it's gonna be a contentious issue because it's hard to find nuance with regulation. It's like, oh, we'll do this one thing here and one thing here. It doesn't usually work out that way. So I definitely hear where you're coming from.
Yeah, like I said, it's just, as you said, more data needs to come out, but it's just interesting how the population has boomed. At what point in time it's like, do we need to keep it in check before you can even regulate it?
Yeah.
Because that obviously needs to take place before you can make it a game fish, right?
Yeah.
Since there's not much regulation on this fish, it's pretty much a wide open commercial market to sell them to, right?
No.
That's what I want to hear.
That's the man to weigh in right there because
No, I mean, like, you can't go catch them and sell them, no.
No, you can't?
No, you could not, no. To do it, you have to have a commercial fishing license, you have to have.
For what?
To sell them, if you wanna harvest them to
License
sell,
for snakehead.
commercial license, no, just a commercial hook and line fishing license, period. Then that would cover the snakehead as a saleable fish that you're harvesting. Also, you have to have a completely enclosed, if you're going to sell fillets, you have to have a completely enclosed cleaning area. We do not want an area where, not that it was going to happen, but we don't want something to flood the room, they get out here, they go into the ditch here, now they're down the drainage system going to another river. So what the state is doing two things. It's kind of hurting us as commercial fishermen as far as harvesting, because now we're putting all these guidelines in to do it, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where realistically, any other fish we can go and we can catch, we can fillet, we can bag, we can sell, boom, we're done. You know, so.
There's
And
a black market going on, right?
There ain't no doubt about that. You know, you
I
got
mean,
plenty of
I know
guys,
for a fact.
we're seeing on Facebook. I got 20 pounds of fillets for sale if anybody wants to buy them. You know, but that guy, 9 times out of 10, it's only a matter of 20, 30 minutes before he's on the radar and we're at the door knocking on the door saying, bro, come on out here, let's talk. You doing something illegal. You know what I mean? So I think the state's trying to do as much as they can to keep the regulations safe for both the public and everybody else, but at the same token, we need to find some other things to give the commercial fishermen a little bit more leniency as far as what we're harvesting. The other problem we're having right now is that we're starting to see a market increase for the fish itself, but we're harvesting, like the commercial guys are getting so many of the nets in Blackwater, 15 cents a pound. I'm not handling 1,000 pounds of fish for $150. I'm dumping them right back in the water and going home. You know what I'm saying? So that's the other thing, you know, there's so much coming into the market that there's no market really for us to go at. The only way to create the market is for you to individually yourself, like myself, go and approach different places and create your own market. You know what I'm saying? Now the state is doing some things with us right now where they're trying to get other states involved. I had a guy from Kentucky contact me last week. He wants 1,000 pounds of snakeheads a week and 1,000 pounds of blue cats a week. Can we make it happen? So now here's another 1,000 pounds that isn't going to market that I might be able to get my hands on and we can do something with instead of 15 cents a pound. See what I'm saying? So I don't know if that answers your question, but no, you cannot sell snake eggs, you know, so no.
Guys, I've seen some places down there in southern Maryland where they were selling for $14.99 a pound fillet.
Yep.
And it's just like anything else, the commercial waterman gets hardly anything.
You're right.
But that market there, buddy,
You're absolutely right.
that's a lot of money.
And I do that to my guys. If I'm getting money, they're getting money. I'm not 15 cents a pound. I know what it is to handle them fish. I'm not like that.
They get $7 a pound live down there where you're talking.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, sir.
In your year and a half chasing these guys, do you see throughout the year a more active time for them? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
right now, we understand spawn goes on, they pretty much got other things on their mind. But what has been your pre-boat time frame?
My favorite time to chase snakehead is in the pre-spawn period, which is about a month ago. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I've also done very well probably late July. I think maybe another pre-spawn period, but I hate to keep plugging myself, but since you're asking, if you look back at some of my most recent videos, my buddy and I stayed down here, well not down here, but over in Dorchester overnight. Fished one day, stayed overnight, fished the next. Between the two of us, we had to have caught up to, I don't know, probably 70 or 80 snakehead, and probably about 30, 40 bass and pickerel and crappie and everything else, but pre-spawn. Like when they're in pre-spawn mode, they will smash some
They're
lures.
feeding,
Oh yeah, feeding heavy.
they're getting ready to, yeah.
Yep.
So if they're spawning multiple times a year, they're getting done to spawn, then they're going back on the feed bag,
Mhm.
and they're spawning, going back on the feed.
And if you can lock down that pattern, and I think probably April and early May is probably the best kind of bracket that I've seen for pre-spawn bite.
How long do they spawn for? Like when will they kind of pick back up if they're spawning right
I
now?
don't know how long they sit on a nest. I mean, I think they guard their fry for at least a couple to several weeks. It's hard to say because it's like not all the fish are like, okay, spawn time. You know, it's kind of segmented out. But I would estimate the spawning period generally lasts about, what do you think, Jim and Cass? Probably about a month or so?
What's that, garden?
No, for the spawn period? Like the spawn period as a whole.
So like for like Blackwater, like your pre-spawn thing, like you're talking about your
Yeah.
numbers,
Yeah.
they're usually hitting March to like you're
Okay.
saying mid-April.
Yep.
And then we start to see the pairing.
Yep.
So right now, the problem that right now we're having is that the water's not staying stable as far as temperature goes, so they have not been able to release any eggs that I have seen as of yet. They're there, they get on the nest, and then we get a rain, and they
middle
pull
of
off
the
the
day.
nest, and then they're back
Once
out
the
here
sun
playing
came
again,
up,
and then we start to
like
warm up,
sun
come
came
back
up
on the
high, it was like
nest.
noon or
Here we get
something,
another
it's
2 inches of
flat.
cold
It's
rain, we're not
flat.
doing it
And all of a
again.
sudden,
Yeah.
one of
You know,
those-
so it's been a
they were, like,
complete
way
struggle the
deep
last
that we
2
couldn't
weeks
get
to
back
try to
there.
get these
It
fish to
was
spawn.
like a foot of
As
water.
soon as it
They're
happens, you're
falling
gonna look at like a
and
30
they
to
come
45
out.
day
They started
period, we're
coming
gonna
out
be
from
guarding
deep,
before they're gonna go back,
but with like mist.
preparing again, and
It was
breaking
called
away
like
from
a
the
roll,
fry
and
and
I don't know
eating
if
so
it had
much.
some. So I
You know
told
what I
some
mean?
guy that ran, he was like,
So it's just a matter of waiting this little lull out that we're on.
Stupid. Other than that, we sold probably cool.
I go out there, I'm seeing
Yeah, we
like
went
8, 9, 10 pounders, I just can't get a bite, and I'm like,
We're doing this
Any other
thing,
questions?
and, like, so is there anything you can do at that point to just?
All right. Thank you all for coming out.
Well, folks, that concludes the Northern Snakehead Seminar. So thanks much again to Dave Talbert, Ange, and everyone else at Island Tackle Outfitters for making this conversation happen. And to close out this seminar, what I'm actually going to do is just give you some bonus fishing footage of Northern Snakehead. So if you have any questions or comments, if you'd like to arrange another seminar, hit me up, let me know. We'll make it happen. All right? Thanks so much for watching. Any questions or comments, let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let's get to some snakehead action.
Oh, I almost got it. Yes! Oh my God! That's a big one! That's a big snake! Yes! Ah. There. There's a shot of her, folks. Oh, you almost pooped on me. Not today, punk. Not today. If I had to estimate, I'd probably put her at about 24, 25. Uh-oh. That's why you put a float on. Hey. Man. There we go.